Quick test, close your eyes and picture a velociraptor. 6 feet tall, scaly, smart enough to open a door? Hold that picture, because almost everything in it is a lie. Doc here, explorer hat, clipboard, possibly too much enthusiasm. And Hollywood told you a lot of lies about this little guy. 5 big ones by my count. So today we're counting them down and rebuilding the real animal one busted myth at a time. And at the very end, I'll show you the single fossil that proves it. 2 dinosaurs caught mid-fight 75 million years ago. By the time we're done, you're going to want to apologize to it. Trust me? By line number 3, you'll forget you were ever scared of it. I'm Doc. This is Stick and Bones, dinosaurs drawn as stick figures. Science kept museum accurate. Let's start the count. Lie number 1. It was huge. The real Velociraptor stood about half a meter at the hip, knee-high to you, nose to tail, a little under 2 meters, and most of that was a long, stiff tail held straight out for balance. Put it on a scale, and you'd get about 15 kilograms, the weight of a medium-sized dog. You could just about walk it on a leash if it let you. So the apex nightmare of your childhood was, pound for pound, a grumpy turkey you could pick up and carry to the car? And be honest, you pictured the monster, not this. Everyone does. That's how good the lie is. If one charged you, you wouldn't run. You'd step over it. It'd come up to about your knee, look thoroughly unimpressed, and threaten your week a whole lot less than the movies promised. The movie version, 2 meters long and close to 90 kilograms. Hollywood didn't stretch the truth. It hit it with a growth ray. That's lie number 1. Lie number 2, that it was even a velociraptor at all. The raptors in the movies were built, almost detail for detail, on a bigger cousin, Deinonychus, a dromaeosaur that really was about your size. The author based his monsters on Deinonychus, then borrowed the name Velociraptor because, in his own words, it just sounded more dramatic. It didn't help that, back in the 1980s, one paleontologist had actually tried to rename Deinonychus as a kind of Velociraptor. So the scariest dinosaur in movie history is wearing a bigger cousin's body and a smaller cousin's name tag? Hollywood, we need to talk. And once a name like that sticks, good luck unsticking it. 40 years later, here we still are. Lie number 3. And this is the big one. They told you it was scaly for a long time. Scientists figured the same thing. Then one little bone flipped the whole story. Okay, this is the good part. In 2007, researchers looked closely at a velociraptor's forearm bone and found a row of little bumps, 6 of them evenly spaced. We call them quill knobs. In living birds, those exact bumps are where big wing feathers anchor to the bone. Same bumps, same spacing, which means Velociraptor had feathers, real ones. Probably around 14 running down each arm, not fuzz, not an accident, proper structured feathers, the same kind birds fly with today. The most terrifying predator in cinema history was, scientifically speaking, fluffy. Behold, the murder turkey, I know, take a second. It's a lot to process. No, before you ask, it couldn't fly. Its arms were too short and the feathers were the wrong shape. But feathers on a dinosaur that can't fly aren't a glitch. They're a clue. Our best guess is they did the same jobs feathers do for birds today, showing off to a mate, shading a nest, staying warm. And that's not a wild guess. We found close cousins fossilized right on top of their nests, arms spread over the eggs. Picture that. A feathered predator brooding its eggs like the world's most dangerous chicken. Adorable and terrifying at the same time, which is honestly this animal's whole personality. One quick honesty note, we can't actually see the real colors, so every raptor you'll ever meet, mine included, is an artist's best guess. Lie number 4, the claw. That famous sickle on the second toe is real, about 6.5 centimeters around the curve, give or take the length of your finger. And the raptor walked on just 2 toes, holding that claw up off the ground the whole time, like it was guarding the point. For decades, everyone pictured it slashing prey open like a switchblade. Then somebody actually tested it. The inside edge turned out to be rounded, not sharp, A mechanical raptor leg could punch the claw into a slab of meat, but couldn't tear it open. As a knife, it was a flop. The leading idea now is that it worked more like a grappling hook. Leap on, pin the prey under your body weight, sink the claws in, and hold on, flapping those feathered arms for balance. And, just like a modern hawk, it didn't bother waiting for dinner to die first, which is frankly the most metal thing a turkey has ever done. I'll be fair though, scientists are still arguing the details, so anyone who claims they know exactly how a raptor hunted is filling in a few blanks. Science updates. The movie didn't. Now picture a windswept desert in what's now Mongolia, the kind of place where bones come right out of the sand. The very first Velociraptor turned up there in 1923, but in 1971, a team found something unreal, a Velociraptor and a stocky little plant eater called Protoceratops buried together mid-fight. The raptor's sickle claw is hooked straight into its opponent's throat. The Protoceratops has the raptor's arm locked in its beak, and it is not letting go. They were buried alive, probably by a collapsing sand dune, and frozen exactly like that for about 75 million years. It's a 75 million-year-old action scene, paused at the worst possible second for both of them. That one fossil is how we know the way this animal moved, fought, and used that claw. It isn't a guess. It's a snapshot. Oh, line number 5. Almost forgot. The genius. You've probably heard raptors were as smart as chimps, or clever enough to outwit a whole room of people. They weren't. A real velociraptor was about as smart as a modern bird of prey. Think hawk. That's genuinely sharp for a reptile? Hawks are no fools, but it's a long way from working a doorknob. That scene was pure Hollywood. So let's tally it up. 5 big lies. Knee-high, not 6 feet. The wrong animal entirely. Feathered, not scaly. A grappling hook, not a switchblade. And hawk smart, not human smart. 5 for 5 Hollywood. Now go back to that monster you pictured at the start and meet the real one. Smaller, fuzzier, weirder. A real little hunter stalking the desert millions of years before T.Rex was even around. And honestly, way more interesting than the lie. Go ahead, apologize to it. So tell me, which dinosaur do you think Hollywood butchered the worst? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. And believe me, I have opinions. And if this rewired your mental picture even a little, do me a favor and smack that like button. It really does help the channel. Next time, the big one. Could a T-Rex really not see you if you stood perfectly still? Subscribe and keep your facts straight with Stick and Bone.